And I'm the school librarian at Chesapeake Bay Middle School.
Gotcha. All right. Because if it's just the three of us, maybe one or two more, we'll just talk specific to your subject areas as much as I can. So, and I used to teach middle school, so it was math and reading, but you still get to work with those kids and kind of know the environment. At least I feel like I know the environment you're working with. Here's my contact information if you want it. Might be worth it. Excuse me. Now, Tracy, this session is also 50 minutes, correct?
Let me unmute before I answer that. This one's 30 minutes. So this is our final kind of abbreviated session at the end of the day, just so that we could slide in a little bit more information, kind of in a quicker format.
I got you. All right. So, Jill, if you want to go first, have you used Wixie before, or are you brand new to the product? Relatively new.
I am new to the product, and I'm just figuring, since we had this opportunity, it would be a good idea to just learn a little bit more about it, and then maybe November 1st, when we have teacher work time, I can play around with it some more.
Yeah, definitely. And just so you know, I do quite a few school trainings in different capacity. I mean, if you were to ground up the social studies department, for example, I would be happy to even present to you guys on that day. Something virtually, something that lasts, like 20, 30 minutes tops. And, if you felt like this was value to you, we could do it for them as well.
Okay, I may be tapping you in February then.
Yeah, that's no problem. That's no problem. Acacia, how about you? Have you used Wixie before?
So, honestly, only in professional development here and there. So nothing has really stuck. So, I guess it's good that we both came in, so we're not at different levels, so to speak. And, I've heard mixed things from my teachers. I think, after a while, people are kind of married to certain things. And
of course.
So, I was coming to see if there's something that, I could convince them to add this to their
there will be.
box.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Wixie is if you just scratch the surface, you're like, oh, it's a painting tool. Nah, it's not even. I mean, paint's like that's the background, so to speak. All the great stuff you can do after it, especially to engage and motivate middle school kids to be rigorous in their projects. Wixie rocks, completely rules. All right, so if you would take a moment, locate on your keyboard the W key and the O key. Because as you learn different things, or I say different things that are awesome, just go WOW and chat that in the text box, or maybe WOW, a couple wows, just wow, really, really shocked me, because I've done trainings where people hold up signs when they're like, okay, that was cool, wow. So we're going to do that today, and let's talk specifically a bit about the basics, a bit about your opportunities, and a couple of my favorite tools. In 30 minutes, it's going to be just fine to get you guys started. And then, occasionally, like I was telling Jill, if you even, like you and me, want to meet, or you got a colleague you pull in and say, hey, can you talk to us for about 10 minutes for the next unit or whatnot, we can just talk integration ideas or whatnot. So first off, I've logged into Wixie, and this is my home page. Now, my projects folder is going to line up differently than anybody else's, because I've created my own subfolders, which I put stuff in. And then I have all of my kind of loose files here. Both teachers and students' files are sorted by the most recent opened, this is the one I just had up a second ago, to the one I haven't opened since 2017. Right? So it's not alphabetical, it's folders first and then projects. So it's kind of straightforward in it. We have the ability to see all of our student work, which I'm going to go, because there is no save button in Wixie. I remember I taught in Baltimore County for 14 years. I taught middle school for 3 years. We would always have the kids save and save often because we didn't want them to lose anything. Wixie saves automatically every 10 or 15 seconds, and anything the kids do is automatically made available for you, their teacher, to see. So when they actually do a file, all of their teachers can see the file. It's not specific to just you and them. It's the student file and all the teachers that have access to it. So autosave, auto drop to the teacher. It's pretty fluid in that it doesn't waste a lot of time for you managing or clicking here, here, and here. You just get in, make something, and get out. In addition, we are going to see different templates. There's well over 3,000 existing templates. There's a lot of media library ELA stuff. There's also a lot of social studies things, and those libraries continue to expand. And I do have some directions down here. You're looking for help. You're also looking for some lesson ideas. 8th grade. All About Me, school, set school year goals, math, atomic, science, SMART goals, maybe, Vision Bird, explore geoscience processes. All right, there we go. That might have worked. But that's science again. Do I see any? Here we go. Explore a journey from one of the Supreme Court justices. All right. So these are at least some ideas that you can, see that, these are lessons that have been done. This is a lesson plan format with built-in resources. So if you're looking for just some ideas, it's not bad to start here for 5 minutes just to give the teachers an idea of what can be done or what Wixie is capable of creating for the students. So anyways, that's down here, and those resources down here are kind of new. They used to be in a different part of our website. Now they're within the program. But when we're ready to go, we're going to go ahead and click on the new icon up here in the upper left. And you could do a graphic organizer and open up straight to a graphic organizer. And this way the kids can choose one if you wanted them to get a little buy-in. I think that's pretty common in middle school. Get them a little bit more motivated. Okay, I need you to choose one of these 3 graphic organizers. You can also do book layouts. And the book layouts are nice because, and I've been going with the fall theme here. Oh, Tracy, you should be recording, by the way, if I forgot to tell you that.
We are good. It's captured everything you've done.
All right. That's fantastic. And I haven't even got any dad jokes yet, so let's see if I can roll a couple of those in. When you do a storybook view, what's wonderful about it, and this is how Wixie laid out, by the way, storyboard along the left, tools along the top, paint tools primarily along the right-hand side. But when you show a book layout, it actually does it with the pages turning. So if you want to do, second chapter to a tall tale or fairy tale or alternate endings, you don't like the way the Bridge to Terabithia ended, how would you rewrite this last chapter based on what happened in the chapter before it? I also think if you're looking at doing something, of course, social studies, I don't know, you guys do U.S. history in the 8th grade? I used to know, but I'm not so hot.
Yeah, U.S. history. And years ago, we used to read Soldier's Heart by Gary Paulson to cover a piece of the Civil War.
Gotcha. So the opportunities here are things like, for instance, journaling. Pretend to be journaling from a point of view. Obviously, if you do some type of presentation, but I'm really going to steer you away from bulleted lists, and I'll explain more about that in a second. So I happen to think, however, when you're going, you could start with those layouts, but simply going into a landscape, is kind of the basic getting started option. So yes, there are paint tools here on the right. Wixie is, at its backbone, a paint drop program. Not particularly, these aren't like wow stuff because paint tools are paint tools. But I am a little type A, so I do like to get some stuff down. So let me at least draw a scene. Got a spray can tool. Let's spray. All these arrows always mean options, by the way. There's more than 10 colors or 12 colors. So arrows mean I got a whole lot more options. Let's go to nature, leaves. And do I want, no, I want big honking leaves. So I can do scenes pretty straightforward. There's also our image library. And know that in our image library, there's well over 3,500 stickers. There's over 35,000 copyright-free images, and you can take pictures with a camera of anything they've created or drawn on their own. Because what's nice about these images is we're going to start talking about my favorite tool in the favorite tool in the program, which is the audio recording tool. So if you want to, I understand the ability or the need or desire to have kids draw their own projects, but you're not the art teacher. You're not giving them grades on their drawings. In fact, the more they draw, the more they move away from that lesson objective on the board. So I want them to use existing images whenever possible. So they can look for it in the folders. They can also do a dictation search now. They can actually spell it out like bear, but they can also search, because they're lazy, bear. Oh. I hit the record too soon. So just know that when they do searches, that they will see both images and photos as well. So I am going to go ahead, for instance, and I will just type in deer. And there's a deer I want. So you got the deer on the page. It's a pretty easy process, resizing, all the things, just kind of common type things. So now that I have an image that I've drawn, I've created, or maybe brought a photo of it, because that was another option. I could take a photo of something. Art teacher, by the way, they should be using this for portfolios. Take a picture and then add an audio recording, kind of a reflection on the process. Great for science, STEM, math. I mean, take a picture of the math work and then go ahead and explain how you solved that problem. All sorts of great options there. Oh, I was boring Jill. She left. Oh, she's having internet issues. So here's the tool, Acacia. Now that's just you and me. This is the tool you want to use and all your teachers need to use. And this is the audio recording tool. Users can add one recording per page, but it can last up to 5 minutes in length. Right? So let's say your 6th grade teacher is complaining because, or any of them are complaining because the kids just don't function like 6th graders used to. So they find themselves doing more and more kind of basic reviews. So let's say you're going to do a prediction one. So you're reading anything, any kind of passage. The kids are listening. Everyone's quiet and intent. It's a beautiful moment. And you get to a spot in the book where the character is about to make a decision. You close the book. You look at the kids quizzically and say, what do you think she's going to do? I need you. You're going to spend 10 minutes. I want you to record your prediction using evidence to support it, and then to draw a picture of that event. And the kids do a recording right off the top of their head. Now, I want them to record before they draw because I can't grade the drawing. I can only grade the recording. So I can live with a blank drawing. But the last thing you want to have happen is 9 minutes into the 10 minutes, you yell, oh no, you got 1 minute left. Be sure to do your prediction. And the kids lay down slop, because they're in a rush. So focus on what's that lesson objective, what's that content I'm trying to capture, that knowledge I'm trying to capture. And the recording, make them do that first and then do the picture afterwards. Now, this opens up great opportunities because although you could take a picture and have the kids explain their math problem, solving it, it also gets into an opportunity for very creative, and it's more of a summative assessment for units to get their knowledge. And if you're looking to motivate and engage middle school students, it's not PowerPoint. Now, if the kids actually do a presentation, I think I can live with that. Because if a kid can take 5 words and talk about it for 50 seconds, that's brilliant, right? But a lot of times I've seen teachers do PowerPoints and they never have the kids present. And when it comes to rigor and sustained knowledge, it's like 0. Because the kids copied and pasted that information into a PowerPoint. They oftentimes don't really process it much, but there's no retention knowledge. There's so much research that supports this. So PowerPoints alone are like a pre-writing stage, just bulleted list. What can you do with that knowledge? So for me, let's say, for instance, you they're doing characters or character traits. They can interview the character. They could pretend to be the character. Historical figures. Don't tell me about Andrew Jackson. Interview him or pretend to be. Right? You're doing something in science, or I like the periodic tables. Pick an element and interview it or pretend to be it. So, Mr. Hydrogen, you're kind of looking a little weak when I look at some of the the protons and neutrons on some of these other guys. What makes you special? And they do that. Then there's opportunities again, like alternate endings to stories. Again, a couple pictures and a lot of audio. You can also go ahead and do things like public service announcements. Like the Island of the Blue Dolphins, I remember reading with the kids, and there were a couple different hazards living on the island. The wild dogs were one. So the kids would actually do a public service announcement related to living in a specific setting or environment from a story, right? Or newscasts. I love science casts. Hey, today we're going to talk about those white things in the sky. I can't believe how many different types of clouds they are. It's kind of cool. And they do a different recording on each page, which can last up to 5 minutes. Some right off the top of their heads, some scripted. Now, what's really cool is they could do this as a collaborative team. Kids can invite students from just their section to join them on the same project, and they can work in real time from those 2 computers. But if one kid's gone, the other kid can still work on the project, and the other kid from home could if they wanted, but they can contribute simultaneously or separately. It doesn't matter to work on the project. So if you and I were doing a project with an interview, we do a little scripting, and I do all the question pages, and then you do all the answer pages, right? And then we just rearrange them so there's a Q&A going. Right. Acacia, how we doing? No wows? Him, huh?
Sorry, I was processing. Yeah, it's good, interesting so far. I had a question. I can't remember now.
No. Well, when you think of it, stop me and just jump right in. And I don't know if Jill just used that as an excuse and left, or if you remembered it, go.
Oh, so with the 5-minute timer, does the timer run so the student knows that, oh, I have like 45 seconds left?
You'll see, here's how I'm doing a recording. It gives me 3 seconds to get ready. This green box will progress, right? So that's 5 minutes for each page though. So it's not just page 1, it's 5 minutes, page 1, 5 minutes, page 2. And they can pause and resume as much as they want. This was actually done for ESOL kids in mind, because sometimes if they're doing like a 2-minute section, if they get tongue-tied, I got to do it all over again. They can try to, if they're good enough, they can pause, untie that tongue, and continue with a pretty fluid, not too big of an interruption type thing. So, yep, there's a timer here too. Now, on the flip side of this, they can also do a video instead. One video per page, up to 5 minutes in length. So if you have a science project in front of you, maybe you've already got your hypothesis, the experiment is about to happen, you take a video of all the different components on the page, pointing out different things, what this will be used to capture, what tools you're using, and then, you're ready to kind of revisit your prediction, and then you can come back after it's done or record it while you do the experiment, and then come back in with your conclusion too. So you can easily do videos. We see kids when they draw sculptures or make sculptures or any kind of project, even like a STEM engineering thing, actually pointing to it while they're doing the video. Sometimes kids will dress up as something. Maybe it's part of a wax museum or whatnot. You can obviously do a, hello, Abraham Lincoln type deal if they wanted to. Or, again, you think of any, Hispanic month, Black Awareness Month. You go on and on. Kids can pretend to be or interview anybody from any time period with any subject area. And that's the neat thing there. And again, it's moving to not only Q&A, but ideally it's moving to some point where they're reflecting on that information. I have a dinosaur interview sample from a 2nd grader, and she starts commenting about how small the dinosaur is. And he says, well, I have sharp teeth and I'm pretty fast, so I can defend myself. He goes, okay, that makes sense. That was her bantering with the dinosaur, but her reflecting on knowledge. And that's really where you want to avoid doing is you just don't want a simple Q&A, question, fact. When were you born? Boom. What did you do? Boom. What did you do? Well, what did what you do impact the people around you? Or what makes you significant to the history of Maryland? Or the country or whatever. So, doing that interviews and, what questions the kids ask, the colonial Marylander, well, they ask the questions that are outlined in the standards. Your kids are supposed to know this or empathize with this or this or this. Those are the questions the kids would have to do their research to address those specific ones, those indicators from the curriculum. Right? So I particularly love it for that. Now, on the flip side, we do see a lot of, I got to keep the recording. On the flip side, we do see a lot of typing opportunities. Trifolds, brochures, newsletters, it's super easy. Now, if you're working with special ed or ESOL kids, by the way, hello, my name is Scott. When you have a passage and click this call out box, this megaphone.
Hello, my name is Scott.
It highlights each word as you go. So you can have page 1 with a passage that the ESOL kid listens to. I'm thinking headphones maybe. Page 2 is more of the story. Page 3 is more of the story. And then what's page 4? Page 4 are comprehension questions based on what I just listened to. So the highlighting of the word should emphasize the letters to a certain spot as far as the wordage and spelling and whatnot. But you're basically getting them to listen to a story and provide, some type of evidence of their understanding that eliminates them not being able to read very well in English. And on the flip side of this, check it out. There's the microphone button. There is a speech to text. Hello, this is Steve, and I'm going to tell you about something exciting that I can't wait to tell you about because it's super cool and you're going to love it. So what's nice about the passages is that obviously this is pre-writing. Now you come in and do punctuation stuff. But if you resize this box, you can easily turn into columns for trifolds and brochures. So again, publishing can be pretty easy because you take away the labor of intensive typing to the point where they can talk more, share more, because a lot of times the typing slows them down, and then put it into some type of format. And this would include, actually, let's go back to this one. Hello. And that you can turn boxes into call-out bubbles. And there's other bubbles like thinking and POW and stuff like that. But move the table, center, do all sorts of things. You have the opportunity to make graphic novels now or comic books. How do you convert an improper fraction to a mixed number? Well, that's a comic book to me. That's 2 boys or 2 girls, and 2 boys, one says, dude, do you have any clue how to convert an improper fraction to a mixed number? And the other boy on the page says, yeah, I do. Let me show you. And that's page 1. And what's wonderful about our print products, and I'm not a big fan of printing, but what's wonderful, oops, I left it accidentally. I want to click on file. About our print products is that you can print things like comic books or postcards or booklets. So this would take page 1 through 6 and put them on the same piece of paper. Don't draw lines on your paper. Wixie does it automatically. This would only do 4 per page. So you got 4 per page, you got 6 per page. Now a booklet is also 4 per page, but it puts them in order. This is great for stories. So that when you start with a hot dog fold and bring it back, you got page 1 in the front, 2 and 3 in the middle, and 4 in the back. And if you have like 7 pages, then you just staple the 2 after you fold them, and you got a little mini book of story elements, step-by-step process, or something, even phys ed or whatnot. And another one that's really nice, like I think Jill would have liked this, is that I'm reading your comment. I'm a little slow. If you make one trading card, you can duplicate it so that there are 9 baseball cards on one sheet, and the kids can trade. So it could be vocabulary from a novel that you're studying, and you're going to make a concentration game. Maybe it's elements again from the periodic table, but when you trade them, the kids then try to sort the cards in different groups and categories, and then they maybe do a passage or a response on, I put these 3 together because of this. I put these 4 together because of this. So trading cards have the opportunity to trade, which can, again, it enhances the rigor a little bit. It adds a little more value or meaning. Instead of just doing the work, getting a grade, I'm going to do the work and share it with my classmates. So not a big fan of printing, but there are great opportunities to do some neat stuff here. Right? The only other thing that I will point out that I think can be hugely motivating when it comes to these kids is the widget section. Because under the widgets, there's these magic stickers. So widget, magic stickers, there's these talkies. And what's super cool about talkies, like let me bring in the microphone, who's just my favorite. Talkies are animated GIFs. And this one winks too. But basically his mouth is going to open and close. And I can type what I want him to say, and he can use special voices, but I can record myself for this talkie too. You know, hey, I'm Mike. I'm here with Abraham Lincoln. I'm so excited to meet you in person, sir. How are you today? So I do that recording, and it's attached to Mike. Now I get to do another recording on this page through another talkie. Talkie, famous people, Abraham Lincoln. Abe's here now. Abe responds. Then I do another microphone and then another Abe. And it's like comic book rules. It'll read top to bottom. And if there's a tie, it'll read left to right. But usually just a little stagger, you get a conversation. So on this page, I have 4 recordings, 2 questions and 2 answers or comments or whatnot. So this is a way to do that. And when you show it, mouse will move. I should at least do a little bit of talking on this one. Hello. Oh, 3, get it ready. 3, 2, 1. Hello, my name is Mike. How are you today, sir? So when I show it, oh. Hello, my name is Mike. How are you today, sir? So the kids can easily do that. And I don't know if you saw under the talkies, and this is a new tool. So we're continually expanding this tool under the widgets, magic stickers, talkies. There were not only the planets, a lot of famous people, but I mean, here's healthy message can go on, be an avocado. Smiley face, we got our share of pumpkins. There's the monster. I think he's pretty cool. Slice of pizza, again, back to that health. Pear, there's sun. I mean, that could be, you know, all sorts of things from an observer from a scene in a story, because, you know, the sun was out, or something more science related. It's your choice. But again, providing an opportunity for kids to creatively share what they know and understand. So these are my making big ones, I think, because it allows the kids to be creative. It is more of a unit assessment. Although there are opportunities for, like, again, collecting your comprehension, understanding in math or literature or whatnot for regular instruction, but the bigger projects like those interviews and public service announcements are more end of units. Whether you use a video, a talkie, or just a recording, it's completely up to you. Now I'm going to show you how to look at kids' work. Do you have any questions before I transition away? Nope. Okay. So back at the home page.
I'd love to throw in a comment there, Scott. I love the talkies because we don't have any programs that are approved for students to make avatars. And I know that that is sometimes a question that we'll get from teachers, like, can students use Bitmoji or something like that? And even Bitmoji is completely static, right? I mean, your avatar isn't saying anything. You just get to dress it up and put it in cute outfits and cute poses and stuff. But it's not approved for students to use. So when you consider the fact that not all students want to be on camera, the ability to have an avatar featured on the screen while you're, explaining something is a big benefit to those kids that don't want to be on camera. And this is the application that gives the kids the option to choose an avatar
Yep.
and then tell their story so that I don't have to be on the screen. So this is our go-to for the avatars. Talkies are great for that.
And the nice thing about adding in that component, and thank you so much for adding that, Tracy, is under the file menu, you can actually download this as a video file, export it out of Wixie. You won't even need it. So now you got your activity or lesson, with a video file. Great, great, great. All right. And that's a new nugget for me, Trace. I'm totally adding that to my repertoire. I'll give you credit in some places, but totally won't give you any credit in others. It'll be like, I thought of this myself. No. All right. So under the students section, middle school teachers will have a pull-down list of all of the classes, all the sections they teach. When they open up one of the classes, I'm going to go with third grade here, they'll see the kids' work. Again, the most recent work to the oldest work. Now, your students will also have other folders saying like grade 6, grade 5, grade 4, grade 3. I mean, Anna Rendell's been using Wixie in the elementary schools for a number of years and has been doing it with middle and high school here the last couple. So especially for SPED or ESOL kids, there are going to be artifacts from the previous years that they can grab. I totally thought you dissed me. You're back. All right.
Sorry.
It's all good. You're probably going to want to watch the recording because you missed the good stuff with the recordings and videos. And
yeah, Jill, go back and catch that recording.
Oh, definitely.
Tracy threw some stuff in with avatars, which was pretty banging. So that was awesome. There we go, Acacia. I'm going to try to use every slang word I can think of. And I'm an old dad, so they're pretty bad. Trust me. So when you see the students' work, if you click on it, just know that you can move through multiple pages if there's multiple pages. If there's an audio recording, you can listen to it. So you can navigate. The project is completely still shot in that you're just seeing images. But if you click the edit menu or I got to unshowcase and uncomplete. If you click the ellipsis dots, you can edit project. So if there was something you just want to change because it's bad, you can make changes. So when you look at kids' work, there's two things that I think you got to do. Mark it as complete. It's right here. This means the kid can't change the project anymore. We want kids using Wixie at home for fun. I mean, kids could draw a birthday cake, record themselves singing happy birthday grandma, and send grandma the link to the project. And grandma doesn't need Wixie. It'll be like an HTML5 viewer. She can listen to singing and think it's pretty cool. And she'll tell all of her grandma friends about what her grandchild did. So marking is complete, and that we want that. So with that in mind, if they're using it at home, we don't want them to modify a project, especially if it's an IEP or 504 that you want to share to mom and dad in a couple of weeks, or the guardians or their guardians. You don't want this changed. So mark it as complete and then leave a comment. Don't print it to write a grade on it. Leave a comment, and this comment shows up on the right-hand side where the paint tools are. Those will be gone, and it'll all be your comment. So you can do a lengthy comment. And the other thing that's kind of nice, if you like a project so much, add it to your own showcase. So you'll have this student sample with you forever. This kid goes on to high school, graduates, whatever. You'll still have the student sample, so you can show next year's kids one of the samples from your kids instead of showing something from a different grade level or something else completely. And then I'll move on to the next teacher or next student. Find their project, open it, mark it as complete, move through the pages, leave comments, so on and so forth. So that's all there really is to seeing student work. It's just a matter of working through it. Again, they don't have to submit it or drop it. It'll just be there automatically, which is a nice thing. And then the last thing that I do want to talk about here is existing templates. There are over 3,500 existing templates. The curriculum templates are all lesson, it's specific, it's obvious what you're going to do, lesson objective-wise. The templates, we don't know what you're going to do with, for instance, the math folder and the cube template. I mean, is this an explorer cube? Is it a character cube? Is it actually a math cube? Is it something with geography? We don't know. But when you go into the curriculum folders, like language arts and comprehension, reading and then comprehension, we see 5-finger retell, diagram the plot, comprehension, cubes. So it's kind of obvious what you're going to do with a lot of these. We also see a lot of choice boards, by the way. I love this comprehension choice board. This gives students a choice, which can be big for middle school kids, to choose one of these 6 templates to demonstrate, in this case, choice board for an informational, it looks like an informational choice board. So these all hyperlink to a different template in which they can do. Now you can assign this to your kids. When you see anywhere you click assign, you choose your class, choose what day you want them to see it. And if today's the first day, when you press save, it'll get assigned to them. They may have to refresh Wixie, but it doesn't take overnight to process. So it'll do it today, quick if it's today. But otherwise, you can say, I want this for Monday. And when I assign this or press save after I select all students or some of my students, I can save it, and this will show up Monday morning at like 12:01 a.m. in the kids' top. It'll be the very top thing in Wixie they see. And when they click it, they get their own copy of it, and the assignment disappears. They just have their version now, not the whole thing. So you can obviously assign it or click customize, which gives you your own version of this template in which you modify, and then you assign your version, not ours. All right. So again, great template stuff. Things that we do see under curriculum are social emotional activities, digital citizenship, all sorts of things with different subjects as well. Social studies folder I hinted at, but there's going to be a lot. Oh, that's social emotional. Social studies I hinted at. There are a lot of great things in these folders. So with that, I'm going to put my contact information up one more time. Sorry, a little rushed. Sorry, Jill, about the technical issues. Again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. Scott, I have a colleague that wants to talk to you. You don't want to be any part of it, but you know, in case you got a friend, you know they're willing to listen to you and listen to me then. I'll chat with them on my own, do a little virtual meeting, something similar to this, specific to their subject areas. If they've never used Wixie before, it's usually about a 20-minute meeting or conversation. If it's just how to use Wixie with my upcoming unit, then it's a simple matter of me meeting with them, and it's a shorter conversation. So it's like 10 minutes. And those, I call them helpings. I can just talk about integration with your upcoming unit, different options for assessment, whether it be a summative or formative.
No, you're good.
Go from there. Tracy, we can hear you.
Thanks so much.
Yep. Sorry, I went off mute just so that I could say I dropped the attendance form
Yes.
into the chat. So make sure that you guys get that for session 5 specifically. And then in addition to Scott being an excellent resource for you, please think of me as a resource. If you decide you want to use Wixie with your students, reach out to me. I'll come out, I'll co-teach with you. And then Acacia, something specific for you. If you go into Wixie and you look at your classes, you may not have them. As media, that stuff is not always set up for you. But if you reach out to us, we can get them set up. Typically, what we do is one for 6th grade, one for 7, and one for 8. But if you have a different need, just reach out to us and we'll make sure that we get your classes set up for you so that you can use that ability to assign in Wixie and see their work. Jill, as a social studies teacher, yours should just be, I'm right about that, your social studies, right, Jill? Yep. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Your classes should all be there and you shouldn't have to ask for anything. They should just be ready to go for you. But I'm happy to support you guys in getting into Wixie. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And then